John, again this season, so much scrutiny around the injury situation. Is there anything being considered or will anything be done this offseason to make changes organizationally when it comes to those areas, including injury prevention?
Yeah, so Matt, we're always, looking into trends, data, everything we do. Our health and performance of our players is at the utmost priority each and every year. This year it was tough, and it took a toll on our team, and we'll continue to look. Now, having said that, we've spent a lot of time and effort in recruiting really quality people, and I think being at the forefront of injury prevention, and I think this year, probably because the star players that went down, there was a lot of attention given on that. The fact of the matter is injuries are a part of this game. And so, what we strive to do is never to eliminate injuries, but to mitigate injuries. And I think we have a lot of good processes. We'll challenge them all. And that has, that process has begun. It never, frankly, stopped. But yes, we'll look at everything and we'll examine everything.
What were your conversations like with Mac Jones at the end of the season? And would you be interested in exploring a trade in the next couple of months?
Yeah, awesome conversations with him, just like I did with a number of players. We, as any player on our team, including myself and John, you always listen to people with trade offers, but we're also not into getting rid of good players, and so I'd be very surprised if Mac wasn't around us next year. Mac
made this place better. He was outstanding this season. He picked us up in a huge way, and it was a really fun process to watch him come in and the joy that he was playing with. He's got an infectious attitude that affects everybody on our team. It affected that quarterback room. You talk to Brock. Brock will tell how he made him a better player. Biggest thing he did is when we needed him, which came early in the season, he went in there and won us a lot of football games, and he kept us in this thing. And so I can't say enough about Mac, not only his play, his leadership. I call it leadership. Do you make people around you better? And I think Mac did that all season. And so he's been an outstanding addition. Like Kyle said, you always listen, but I know we're a better football team with Mac Jones on our roster.
Kyle, in after letting go a lot of players last offseason, you talked about opening up a new kind of window of contention. Do you have a little distance on the way the season ended? Can you talk where you are maybe in this cycle? Was this season almost kind of ahead of schedule, and what does it set up for you financially and roster-wise this offseason? Is it time to maybe make some more spending? Is it time to try to make some more dramatic moves to try to take a bigger leap?
Yeah, that is a broad question. A good one. Last year was a huge challenge. We've salary cap wise and what we've gone for numbers of years. You can't do that every year. That's the way it's set up, and we had done that too many years in a row. So we had to make a decision to cut on money last year. That wasn't us being cheap or anything. We actually spend almost as much or more than everybody. That's what you have to do in the cycle of how it's all based, and more so than the injuries. That was the hardest thing to overcome is how many good players we had to let go out of this building that went and helped a lot of other teams. That's why when we did have significant injuries to some very good players, it was more daunting. That would have been in years past, because the guys we would have hung on when you lose a guy like Fred or you lose a guy like Nick, those guys we lost because of free agency and stuff that we had to do because of the previous year. So yes, if you would have told me that we lost those guys before the season with what we were going into, I wouldn't have expected us to have the record and stuff that we did. But that's when you look at things as a whole and you try to give a narrative to a whole. Like we just prepare for a game each week, and there was very few Sundays that we felt by the time we got there that we didn't have a chance to win. And I thought we did play well. I thought our players grinded and overcame a ton of things this year, and it gave us a chance to make the playoffs. And I never sit there and say, like, oh, this will be successful if we just get close to the playoffs or something like that. I mean, we always expect to try to compete for the playoffs. We know some seasons are going to be harder than others, which we thought this would be. And I am proud to a degree of what we accomplished. That doesn't mean I'm sitting here 3 days removed and having great perspective. You know, once you get to that point, you believe you can get to the next point, because you can't get that far if that isn't possible. So we're real disappointed right now with how the season ended, and I'm still dealing with that, which it'll get easier over the weeks and stuff. And then as we start to look into putting our coaching staff together, which, you know, obviously losing Robert and stuff, there's definitely some holes there that we got to replace. And then once you do that, then it's me catching up with John, with where we're at financially, what we can do, what the options are, what's available in free agency, what's available in the draft, what helps you on this year, what helps you to the next year. And all that stuff is connected. We're going to always try to do as well as we can to compete each year. But some years are harder than others in terms of what you can do financially. And I know I'm not there yet, but that's stuff that I'll be getting caught up from these guys over the next 2 months.
Tim, and I think just to add a little context to that, and it's a very fair question, because we did watch the likes of Mooney Ward, Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, Javon Hargrave, Malik Collins. I'm missing Leonard Floyd. A lot of guys left. I think that spoke to how good our roster was, and people want what we've kind of created, and we've built. Our players have built what Kyle has built, and that's tough to watch that. Now, I think the thing that sometimes gets lost, we did sign our franchise quarterback to a big deal. We signed George Kittle and Fred Warner to extensions. We signed Colton McKivitz, that we felt like was a really smart move for our roster and needed. And so those are some kinds, the ebb and flows of this thing that you have to. And like Kyle said, we've been pedal to the metal for a while. There always is reckoning. I think what that did too, though, is, we had an 11-person draft class. All 11 of those guys are still in this building. We got great contributions from a lot of them. A lot of them, unfortunately, or some of them, like Michael, it was cut short. But we really are excited about the impact that class is going to have moving forward. A lot of guys, because of the injuries, had opportunities to play. Then we get guys back. We got to keep them back, but we put that all together, and we're excited. But yes, we will have a little more flexibility this year, and we're excited about that.
Have you guys reached out to teams about potentially trading for a wide receiver, and is that something you'd be interested in exploring this offseason?
We'll explore anything to make our football team better. I think we've shown that. Right now we're gonna get together, and we're gonna put together our plan like we do each and every year. And like I said, we're open to anything that's going to make our team better.
John, how much will your cash spending be impacted by the dollars that came free, in essence, when you voided Brandon Ayuk's guarantees for the future? Does that have an impact on the models that you guys have put together and changing how you approach this offseason?
Yeah, of course it does. But, those things are complicated. With the cash that comes, there comes this cap acceleration and things of that nature. But yes, it obviously does affect things. Yeah.